Ah, yes, come in. Our featured presentation is about to start. You have entered into cult cinema with the dastardly evil Cheese Film and my partner in crime, Hecubus. This is the Grindhouse Podcast. We're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome back to the Grindhouse Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Cheese Film, and I'm joined with Mr. Hecubus, and, of course,
Randy Official.
Today we'll be talking about two movies,
Yes.
another double feature. These two movies are related in a way that I was unaware of. I looked into it, and I'm pretty excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't ever think about it like that.
No. Especially because, well, go ahead.
Well, no, because one movie...
You didn't even say the names yet, that's why I stopped.
Well, yeah, we're doing the fanfare first. One movie is a very hard crime movie
Thriller.
known as The Big Sleep. And another movie is a stoner, loosey-goosey
what's it called?
kidnapping movie.
Yeah.
Called
Kind of. The Big
The
Lebowski.
So to have them connect, because, I mean, when you said, it's based on The Big Sleep, I was like, how?
Yeah, well, I was kind of not 100% accurate with that.
Uh-huh.
But The Big Sleep started a trend with The Big whatever. And there's a whole bunch of big movies that came out in the late 40s and 50s, and they're called that because of The Big Sleep. It had like $1 million budget and made $3 million.
Wow.
In 1946. So
That's
it was
pretty
pretty
impressive.
successful.
But when I dug into it, there are actual parallels.
Yeah.
It is based on the same kind of source material, but done.
Well, it's the Lebowski's based on the movies, kind of those film noir movies, because there's a bunch of different crap in it.
Well, the Big Lebowski borrows some plot points, and I wrote this down, but I'll address it now. It's a joke.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Sam Elliott in the beginning is like, there was the thing about a man. Is,
yeah.
and it's like if somebody who got high was trying to tell you about The Big Sleep, this is kind of how it would be.
It is like that too. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
I think we'll get into that.
Yeah. But The Big Sleep came out in 1946.
Came out in 1946, was completed in 1944, but Warner Brothers had a whole bunch of war movies they had to put out, so it got shelved until 1946. Yeah. And then they did some reshoots because some test audiences didn't think it was sexy enough.
Huh. Really?
I don't know what they ended up they reshot scenes with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall to make it more steamy, who were dating at the time and then got married when it came out. But what they are, I don't know. It's not steamy at all, I don't think.
I think
and their whole love story thing is more told than shown.
I agree with that. I kind of don't buy it.
No, me neither.
And that she felt a little too independent for him.
Yeah, way too independent for him. Yeah.
Like, not saying that he needs a non-independent woman, but she doesn't need him.
No, not at all.
She's kind of in control of everything.
Yeah, and she's got one over on him for most of the movie.
Right. So to have him fall in
They're
love
pretty
with
much equal, but you can't tell.
You can't.
I don't think.
So maybe it's to go for that she's genuine and it isn't just an act.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it is an act and there's a betrayal there.
Right.
But she might just genuinely like him. He's a handsome-looking guy.
That's twice her age.
Yeah. So we have Humphrey Bogart playing Philip Marlowe.
Yep.
He introduces himself as a different name, though, in the very beginning. He says it's like Eric or something. They say, you don't look like an Eric.
To who?
Like the first time he introduces himself to...
oh, yeah.
no, that's not when he's like, well, that's what I tell people. But his name is Philip Marlowe. Lauren Bacall is Vivian Rutledge.
Right.
Which this is the first time I've seen this movie.
Oh yeah, it's damn good.
My college film, The Case of Miss Scarlet. Her name was also Vivian. Unrelated, but it probably if cool. I had seen this when I made that, I would have named her after this.
Right.
So it's kind of like a retrospective. Right.
That is pretty cool. It's synchronicity.
Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah.
Randy, I think that camera went out. But
or it took a picture.
Yeah, it's a shutter.
Did something. But the movie is pretty much. Well, he gets hired by a colonel who was in World War I, it must have been one because World War II was going on right now, and he's all messed up, had a hard life basically, and he hires him to investigate a blackmailing scheme.
Yeah,
with his youngest daughter, who's wild, especially for that time. They even show her being like stoned on something.
I was kind of impressed with that.
Yeah, me too.
They showed that.
Yeah.
Because you don't see, well, at least I haven't, a lot of drug use.
Yeah, even Reefer Madness is a joke at the most.
Right.
And it's pretty. And they even say that at the end she could send her away someplace to get her cured because they could do that now.
Yeah.
It's rehab.
Yeah. But yeah, so he hires Marlowe to find out who's got the dirt.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah. And that is really the most concise, clear-cut thing of this movie.
Yeah,
it's all over the place. And if it was another movie, you would say it was convoluted, and it would be a real detriment to it, I think. And I think they might have said that back in the day. But the characters are so cool and well played that you really don't notice or care that this really doesn't make a lot of sense. And what the hell is going on?
So I asked myself that actually out loud a couple times.
What's going on?
Yeah, what's happening? What's going on? And to that point, the director, Mr. Howard Hawks, cut out a lot of the plot.
Yeah.
Like, he cut it out on purpose because like for runtime, and he's like, well, they just need to have a good time. They won't care.
Yeah, that was. He cut it out. It became a hit, and he's like, well, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
They don't care about the plot as long as they have a good time. And you know what? He got me.
Yeah, I mean, I
love this movie. It's great.
And
I forgot how much I like this movie.
I fell in love with this movie. I thought it was perfect.
It's a lot of fun.
It's like my favorite film noir, like classic film noir is Double Indemnity.
Uh-huh.
This one,
Double Indemnity,
rivals that. Yeah,
might be a Raymond Chandler one. I'm pretty sure it is. I was just looking at him, but I haven't seen that. That one's got Fred McMurray in it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's an insurance scam.
Yeah,
but a lot of his movies were made into, or books were made into movies, and The Long Goodbye, which has what's his name? He's Rachel and Ross's dad. Elliot Gould.
Yeah.
He plays Philip Marlowe in The Long Goodbye, which is the first time Arnold Schwarzenegger is ever in a movie.
Uh-huh.
And he's just a heavy. He doesn't even have lines or anything, but you're like, I don't want to mess with these people. Because the bad guy, who's a gambling guy in this movie, has some heavies. And you're like, whatever, guy. I think I could take both of them. Right. Do you know what I mean? They're not the one guy that's a killer for him. Well, he's got a weird name. He looks creepy. You're like, I'm not going to mess with him. But the one guy's real short and makes jokes all the time. The other guy is tall and is just dopey. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah. So then. I mean, it's kind of hard to go through the story here.
It is. Yeah, Double Indemnity is Raymond Chandler.
It's just kind of, it is all over the place. Because because he's tailing somebody, and then he finds the sister in the house with the dead.
Yeah, who is he? He's tailing Geiger
to
his own house. And then he waits there for him in his car,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. And one thing I was thinking, I can't tell if it's a set or not, and I think it's because it's black and white. If it's a set, they're damn good sets.
Yeah.
The city one too, with the bookstore and stuff, they look fabulous. Fabulous.
Everything in this movie looks real good.
Yeah, but that's where he's at Geiger's house, who may or may not have anything to do with his blackmailing.
Yeah, he's just kind of a lead.
She owes money to him.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But is it for that?
Yeah, right.
You know, or is that just another part of this?
Yeah.
And then he goes in, sees that Marlowe's dead, and
Marlowe sees that Geiger's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's high.
And laughing and falling all over the place. And then he covers it up.
Yep, he covers it up. He covers up a lot of stuff in this.
Yeah, and he's like
he's a pretty stand-up guy. He used to work for the district attorney's office, and got fired for insubordination. And his friend, he's got a friend that's a cop. Mm-hmm. That cop they're kind of chummy.
Yeah, and well, so like he's a PI who, like all those PIs, he's not working with the force, but he's kind of deputized.
Yeah,
he's got a badge.
Right.
But unlike in Chinatown, where you can tell like the detectives don't like Jake,
right. Yeah,
they do like him.
Yeah,
they work with him, so it's kind of funny to see that he would cover this up.
Yeah, it is.
You know, like it's a very direct violation of
everything
what you would expect.
He committed a crime.
He did. And then he went back there to make sure that there was no
evidence.
Yeah. But when he went back there to find was somebody else covered it up too.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's all these layers and stuff, and they don't all get. I don't think they're all resolved 100%.
No.
Not to a satisfactory end, even though I felt satisfied at the end.
You feel kind of satisfied at the end because she's involved in it, the older sister.
Yeah, Vivian is too.
She's
really one of the masterminds of
behind it all,
of the getting out from under the blackmail thing, because she knows what's really the blackmail is.
And then you've got some mob guy who's got a couple of enforcers.
Yep. Those are the enforcers, I think. The ones that first come into the house. Yeah. They're the dopey ones. The guy that kills Elijah Cook, he's scary.
Yeah. And I love the way that ends too.
Yeah.
Because those guys are supposed to be the blackmailers.
Yeah. You think they are.
Right. So you've got this kind of triangle of mystery going on.
Right.
And you're weeding through trying to find the clues and all. And as it goes on, it kind of feels like there's no investigation into any of this.
By the police?
By the police.
Yeah,
They're just kind of leaving it alone.
Phil's got it. Don't worry about it.
Because he goes back to the house. The body's not there. And he's like, all right, well, lucky me. Gets a call that a car drove into the water.
Right.
And I thought, oh, okay, so this is how they're going to fake the death.
Yeah, that's the one that never gets resolved.
No. It's just...
The chauffeur's dead.
Why did they call him there? Why would you do that?
I don't know. I think somebody was just trying to call there, and he knew who was on the phone, so he just started talking to him.
Okay, because
he's like, car. Mars, that was his name.
He's like, you should come down here and look at this.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's odd, but okay. And that's kind of not connected. Kind of just put in there.
It really is
like a red herring kind of thing, maybe.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, because it doesn't go anywhere.
Nope,
it's never
not really.
Really back up. They might reference it again when he's kind of going through everything.
Yeah.
But it's not really important.
Nope. And Howard Hawks like they're having a good time.
Yeah. So we go on. We continue. We keep investigating, and they kind of start falling for each other. The sister.
Yeah, you kind of get it right from their introduction that they're they don't mind the way each other looks. They're kind of their jib. And then she's kind of obnoxious and snooty because she's rich, and he is not. And I think he's a veteran too, and He don't put up with any of her crap.
He doesn't. It's kind of funny because
it's great.
Had a lot of on-screen chemistry.
Yeah.
And they were dating, and the director was not a fan of their relationship at all.
Well, he's twice her age.
Well, and I guess
and then some.
Mr. Hawks was kind of parental to
probably.
And was like, no. I don't like that. Stop doing that. But I don't know. If it worked out, I guess,
Yeah, I think they were together till he died.
Because she's great in this. And
yeah. This is the second time. I think the first movie they were in was To Have and Have Not.
Which, ironically, I watched this the beginning of this month.
Oh, did you?
With Paulie, yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. I really like that one. And then this one. And then they were in two more, Key Largo and Dark Passage. Dark Passage is not quite as good as the other ones. But it's all right. He breaks out of prison and basically takes her hostage.
Oh.
And they're all in San Francisco for some reason.
I've noticed that. A lot of his,
I don't know why. Maybe Raymond Chandler's from San Francisco. I didn't look into that. I guess I should have.
Because I also watched Treasure of the Sierra Madre, which is set in Mexico.
Right.
And then Tokyo Joe, which is in Japan. And I'm like, well, a lot of these, if he's not in another country,
he's in San Francisco.
He's in San Francisco. I think that's funny.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think I've seen a movie where he's like in New York. Well, probably like the Roaring �20s. But
like Key Largo's in Key Largo.
Yeah.
And To Have and Have Not is in Cuba, I think. Or it's down
country.
There. Yeah, you're right. It is. See, the movie, this is a good movie. Watch this movie.
100%.
And then try telling somebody what it's about. Like what we're doing. We keep going on different tangents and everything.
Because it's
worth it. Because like he goes to Geiger's store.
Right, and they're cleaning out the back.
Yeah, and he's does that disguise thing. And he asks for 2 certain books that he knows don't exist. Mm-hmm. And the lady's like, oh, we don't have them. Or whatever. Then he goes across the street to a bookstore. And then it starts raining. And he either hooks up with that girl, because she's like, the place is closed now.
That's what makes it. So they added that. I read that on IMDb.
Okay.
That's the scene they added, because it doesn't happen in the book.
Oh.
That makes the movie a little bit more steamy.
Yeah. But that you don't see, she takes her hair down, and he wants her to take her glasses off.
Take her glasses off.
Because he's a jerk. But, and then it goes to black. Right. It comes back from black, and they have all their clothes on. They're not disheveled at all or out of breath.
No.
And just in time to see Geiger leaving, and that's when he follows him to his house and gets murdered.
Because like there's like these parts.
Yeah.
But like getting to those parts is like a spaghetti street.
Yeah, it really is.
Because like I want to talk about.
Go ahead, because it doesn't matter. It's so windy and stuff.
He approaches the kid sister.
Yeah.
About what she remembers and.
Yeah. Right.
What she was doing there and all her part in all this.
Yeah.
She's kind of giving him the runaround, or really what he told them to do is deny it all. And,
right.
And then follows her to another place where he finds a dude.
Yeah.
And in the dude who was clearing out the back of the store.
Yep.
His apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's kind of revealed that like a lot of this stuff is going on, and maybe he's the bad guy.
Right.
And, all of this stuff, and there's mystery here too. But then he gets shot.
Yeah. And he has nothing to do with it.
No.
He's like he's a con man, taking advantage of a situation, and he's not a very good liar. And he keeps, why don't you look at me in the face when you say that? And he's like, okay. And then he keeps moving around, and then Humphrey Bogart's got to follow his face around because he's full of crap.
Right.
And he knows it. Humphrey Bogart knows it. He doesn't know why he's full of crap.
But he knows.
But he's savvy enough to know he's full of crap. Yeah. And then he ends up getting shot.
And then he chases the gunman and kind of loses him at one point, and then kind of.
Well, he gets shot at. and then hides behind a thing, and the guy takes off. But he gets in his car and sees him, and then pulls ahead of him, and then gets the jump on him.
Okay, yeah. Because he's hiding in the car.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you got a light?
Yeah.
That's cool. Which leads us to the alleyway.
Yeah.
Where he gets mugged.
Well, that's the Elijah Cook guy is following him, and he talks to the main bad guy. And I say bad guy, meaning he's a criminal overlord kind of guy. He's a
like
gambling gangster. He's like, you got this guy following me? And he's like, no, I don't really. I like you enough and all, but I don't care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there's so much great banter between the people. That's what really makes it a great movie. And then other stuff happens, and then he goes. It's towards the end that he gets beat up.
And then they jump him pretty hard.
Yeah, it didn't even look that
man, they get this guy a couple times, man.
Yeah.
He's easy to get knocked out.
Yeah.
Because they hit him at one point. They're talking about somebody got hit in the head, and they said it was probably a blackjack, probably.
Yeah, it was the guy that ended up in the drink.
Yeah, and then at one point you see the guy like holding at the
yeah
auto
place, the scary heavy guy.
Yeah,
that's I think he's got ball bearings in his hand.
Yeah,
so when he hits him, it's like having a roll of quarters in your hand.
And
you know about dunk. That. You do that, and it's like here's brass knuckles, and then you do that, and then here's your fist. So him getting knocked out by that makes sense. And then they show him they make sure to show that he's not a wuss.
Yeah, well, and he's playing with him, but he like, I getting beat up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's kind of funny that like, that's just what's happening. He's getting his nose in all kinds of dirt.
I wanted to get a picture of this too, but I couldn't. There was very few pictures that weren't just Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall.
Right.
When the Elijah Cook guy, who's got the hots for the younger sister, is basically being played by her because she's not a good person.
No.
And he goes into the office. There's like 2 doors. It's an insurance company.
Yeah.
He goes into the office, and then you see the Elijah Cook guy in silhouette being interrogated by the scary guy who ends up killing him by making him drink poison.
What is this? Poison?
Yeah. And he says, what do you think, I'm going to poison you? I would say yes. Yeah. I guess he didn't want to get shot because something was going to happen.
Doesn't he get the water from the cooler?
He goes and he's like, I'll get you a drink. You got a glass. He's like, by the water cooler. And he is obviously pouring, it's supposed to be liquor, but it's poison into the glass that he gives to him. And he starts laughing because he gave him the wrong address and then dies. But that silhouette part.
That, though.
Yeah. The silhouette, which is a kind of a film noir staple, shadows and silhouettes, is mocked in The Big Lebowski by that dancer guy. He's behind that thing with his dance. You know what I'm talking about? He's like, I want you to. Lebowski's landlord has an interpretive dance show.
Yeah.
And it's behind a screen one time, and I think that's why they did that.
It's there.
To mock stuff like that.
So he gets poisoned because he was tailing Marlowe.
Right.
And he watches him get beat up, and he's like, you just let that happen? He's like, well, wasn't any.
Yeah.
So he calls the apartment address that he gave him. It's like, do you have that lady there? No. Well, do you have a lady with this description? No.
What about a guy that looks like it's the dead guy?
No. And he's like, haha, okay.
Yeah.
In the end, you ended up saving her,
Yeah.
Doing. Which I kind of don't get because they ended up getting her anyway. Or she was part of it.
She was part of it, yeah.
So he died kind of for nothing.
He totally died for nothing. It's like we introduced this character, now we got to get rid of him, kind of thing.
So he's, I don't know how he ends up finding him, but he goes out of the city and down into the country.
He calls her.
and says,
or
"Where
no,
are you gonna be?"
maybe she calls him. Yeah, she calls the insurance company. He answers like, "Where are you? Where can you meet me? I got your $200." Blah blah blah, which he gives her $200, and I think that after that he goes to. It's so messed up.
Yeah, it's kind of
because he was supposed to meet Lauren Bacall, and gets all settled, but he's not satisfied. So he's still looking into it. Gets threatened by the DA to stop looking into it, and she pays him and everything, but won't tell him what I think it's Mars is the gangster guy has over her, which is what the whole thing really is.
Right.
And no, it's so it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't have to. But then he goes to the gangster's place, and she's singing there, and she insisted on singing herself.
A lot of people said it was dubbed, and it was not.
It was not dubbed. It was supposed to be dubbed. She insisted on it, and she sucks. She cannot sing. And they put on a big show about because she's a gambler, like a compulsive gambler. She's got a problem with gambling, and sometimes she wins, sometimes she doesn't. She happens to win. She's got $14,000 all on one thing. They're playing roulette, and the gangster's like he covers her bet, so she wins $28,000, but he doesn't buy any of it.
Yeah,
and she's gonna get robbed. He saves her.
It's all over the place.
It is all over the place, and it's worth it.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's riveting.
It is. And, the Big Lebowski's all over the place, too.
Yeah.
The same way. It's just worth it. Lebowski's funnier. And it's just a good time to watch these people, watch Philip Marlowe getting in and out of one pickle after another.
Yeah. That's
for
kind
these
of the best
two
way to
sisters
describe
that are dirty, spoiled brats.
So then we'll just kind of jump to the end here because I find that this is one of the coolest ways to end it, where he goes back to
Geiger's
house.
Yeah, a lot of it takes place in that dead guy's house.
They keep going back there. Yeah,
and the cops are never there.
Not once. I was like, nobody realized he died.
Yeah,
where'd the body go?
Well, somebody took it. Who took it? Mars took it, maybe, and then put it back. Remember, because he's in the bed.
Yeah, he is.
Because there's candles up, and he's like, "What's going on?" He goes into the bedroom, and the guy's there now. Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's going to go nowhere.
So he beats him there, and kind of at this point, Humphrey Bogart's had it.
Oh, he's totally had it.
He's had it.
They were going to kill him. He goes out to the place. They were going to kill him. They're like, "Why did you do this?" Okay. Oh, what's his name? Shoot. The colonel at the beginning had a guy working for him.
Yeah.
That guy ran off with the gangster's wife, supposedly. But for some reason, the younger daughter killed him. And that's what everybody has over her. That's what they're blackmailing, and that's what Lauren Bacall knows. The wife was faking that she ran off with him to throw the authorities off of any kind of trail so that her husband wouldn't get in trouble for murdering this guy. And she's holed up at a house out in the middle of nowhere. And Humphrey Bogart eventually, the sister tells what's going on, where it's at and everything. He goes there and to confront them, basically. And then he gets knocked out by the scary guy, tied up, and then they're going to kill him because he knows too much. Mm. And
they go fix his car.
Yeah.
And when they find out that there's more in that car than just a flat tire, they're gonna.
Yeah, because he's got guns hidden underneath the dashboard.
Man, that's so cool. Because he gets his gun out and he shoots, and the other guy just takes off.
Yeah, he shoots off into nowhere, and he's not a killer. He's the mechanic.
Right.
He's really a mechanic, and they're making him be a heavy, and that don't work.
Right. So he takes off. And
then, Lauren Bacall let Humphrey Bogart go because he was tied up.
Yeah.
And they're going to go, who knows where they're going to go, because they're going back to San Francisco, but they kill the heavy guy. And then,
yeah, it was so
Mars is going to, he tries to set up something where, because he knows now the whole story. And he's going to let Mars, work out a deal. He says, and this is in Geiger's house. How long will it take you to get there? About 40 minutes. He's like, all right, I'll meet you there then. The guy shows up in 10 minutes to kill him. And he has the upper hand.
Yeah.
The first time in the whole movie, at the very end, he has the upper hand.
When he kills the heavy, I like how Lauren Bacall is like, oh, over there. And he empties his gun. And then Humphrey Bogart comes out. He's like, over here, buddy. And he guns him down. And then we're in Geiger's house. And Humphrey starts going a little crazy. And he's like, what if they hear a gunshot? Are they going to know it's going to be you coming out that door?
Right.
And then we quick to the shoot. What about 2? Should I start counting?
Yeah. That was cool.
And oh, my God. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And he gets heated and tensed, and he freaks out, and he runs out the front door. He's like, it's me.
Yeah.
And they gun him down. And he falls down, and that's where it ends.
Yeah, because then he calls the cops. He's like, hurry up, because I don't know if I'll be here if you're by the time you get here. And, then he wraps it up. He's like, look, your sister's going to go. Your sister's in trouble.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, what about me? He's like, what's wrong with me? He's like, what's wrong with you, he says. And she's like, nothing you can't fix. And that's the end of the movie.
Every time he's like, if you go to the police, if you take me to the police, I'll tell them everything.
Yeah, right.
So she's not trying to be in this. She's just kind of a victim of it.
But it is all over the place, and it's worth the ride.
It is. It's a unique experience.
It is.
I don't think I've seen anything like it.
No, except for The Big Lebowski.
But then we go into The Big Lebowski.
How many dudes do you give that movie?
I give it 5 dudes.
5 big dudes.
5 big dudes.
That's what I'm saying. Watch it and then try to explain it to somebody.
Yeah, really.
And you're going to look like idiots like us.
Because we both seen it.
I just watched it last night.
Know how it goes, and it's just hard to get through all these bits and bobs because it's really just everywhere.
It is. Did you say you watched it, Tom? I mean, Randy Official?
Yeah. I did.
Liar.
What did you think of it?
I didn't watch it.
Liar.
Okay. But I did watch The Big Lebowski.
Did you?
Yes.
So, I want to start off by saying this movie is directed by Joel and Ethan Coen.
Right. It's written by both of them. Joel directed it.
I think
it's always
IMDb's got Ethan listed too.
I think I looked at Wikipedia. Who cares?
I'm not.
They make these movies.
Yeah.
And you see behind the scenes stuff, and they're always both there filming it. So,
like the Russo brothers.
Yeah. Right.
They're kind of a package deal. I am not the biggest fan of the Coen brothers. I've always said that. I don't like their movies. But then I was like, you know what? I've not ever seen No Country for Old Men.
Oh.
Let's give it a shot. Wow, this is amazing.
Wow. That is what you say about that movie, I think. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's another one that's like The Big Sleep. Kind of. It has more. It's more linear, but what just happened?
Yeah.
And this is the end? This is the end of the movie.
Is that how it ends? The Big Lebowski I watched in college, how most people do.
Not me.
I wasn't a fan of it. Never really got into it. Rewatched it for this. Love it. I don't know. Maybe I'm older. I can appreciate things more. Or
was it hyped to you before you saw it the first time, and it maybe didn't click with you?
I think it's. I didn't like the whole stoner kind of.
I barely call this a stoner movie.
Yeah,
it's not a stoner movie.
I think it's paired with that, but I would never call this.
He's a stoner.
Yeah, but that
but that's it. That's all it is. Because the other people he's with aren't.
No.
Yeah, one of them is a crazy guy.
Yeah.
Hey, he's a vet. I don't believe he's a vet.
Yeah, I think that's the whole.
I think he might have gone over, but like he never saw any action.
Right. They changed it at the end when Donnie's funeral, where he's talking about Vietnam and stuff, and he's like, "You were never even in Vietnam, man." That was the original line.
Wow.
And they changed it to all that crap about Vietnam, but yeah, he's not probably.
Because I was thinking that because he keeps bringing it up.
Yeah, all the time.
And I'm like, so this guy either can never get it out of his head, or he never actually got to go.
Right. He's trying to convince himself he went.
Yeah.
All right. He's played by John Goodman.
John Goodman.
Coen Brothers standard at that. This is his third Coen Brother movie, I think.
And is this his third or second Coen?
He was in Barton Fink, and I'm pretty sure Raising Arizona came out before this. He's not in that very much. And then this.
So I think Raising Arizona, because that's the first Coen Brothers movie I saw. I hate it, and I think it's because of Nicolas Cage. I
really?
don't think I'm a Nicolas Cage guy.
I am.
I
wouldn't watch anything because Nicolas Cage is in it. But the things I see with him in it, I like him.
It's hard. I don't like him as an actor. I don't know.
Hey, that's okay.
I'm not trying to be like cool because he's big in everything now.
Right.
I just never. I like him in Ghost Rider, But so that maybe even that put a sour taste in my mouth because I'm excited to watch Blood Simple. I'm excited to go through all these Coen Brothers movies. Because,
Blood Simple's pretty good too.
Because I like how this is directed.
Blood Simple is the least Coen Brothers movie of all the Coen Brothers movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the cover of it sold me.
Yeah.
I love it.
The first one I ever saw was Miller's Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that, Barton Fink came out, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, Barton Fink is so everything. It's not as good as Miller's Crossing." Miller's Crossing is phenomenal.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, you do.
But so I would say this is a stoner movie, in the sense of it's a stoner trying to tell you the story of The Big Sleep.
Yeah.
You have a stoner main character. And that's it. Everybody else, I mean, I don't know about the Big Lebowski.
The nihilists are they're wasted lots of times.
Yeah. But everybody else is kind of a character.
Yeah.
Like, it's all...
They're characters, all right.
Yeah. And it's pretty interesting to see that, like, there isn't... Because even, like Philip Seymour Hoffman's in this movie.
Yeah.
Big name for
what
could be... Well,
he wasn't then.
Big. Because this movie came out in 1998.
Yeah.
26 years ago. So I guess he wasn't super big yet.
He wasn't.
But it's kind of a shoe-in role. So when you have him now, well, what his career ended as,
You're
where
right.
he's like, oh, he was
the shit, yeah.
And you go back to this, and he's just kind of the butler who's...
He's doing stuff like that.
Yeah, all the time. I thought you had a problem.
No, and like
he's always smiling.
Mr. Lebowski's in Mourning.
Yeah,
like all that stupid crap.
Kind of over the top.
Yeah,
but at the same time,
like
I
a kiss ass.
Fully believe it. Too.
Yeah, he's a kiss ass.
Yeah,
and that's what. Yeah, but when I saw other Philip Seymour Hoffman things, I was like, oh, the guy from The Big Lebowski.
I mean, he's great in this. Everybody's great in this.
Yes, everybody is great.
And then you've got David Huddleston as the Big Lebowski. I love that. It's intentionally confusing.
Yeah,
because the movie's called The Big Lebowski. It's got Jeff Bridges' face all over everything.
Yep.
You'd think they call it, "Hey, where's my money, Lebowski?" And he's like, "I'm not Lebowski. I'm the dude." He's the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
That him, it's all him. Stop paying attention to me, man. It's him. And I find
that's a mistaken identity is a big, especially Hitchcock, but a film noir thing.
Yeah, and it's as simple that it all kicked off because they peed on his rug, and he said, "Well, they were after you." And I got it, and I got the end of the stick. So just compensate me for this run. We'll call it even. And he goes off on this tirade about how it's not his problem and the world's not fair and all this stuff. And he just kind of checks out.
He
leaves
just totally
in the middle
checks
of
out.
His tirade. He told me to take whatever rug I wanted. He does. And I love that. I love how he is constantly telling people don't call him Lebowski.
Yeah. All
Stop.
the time.
Just I'm the dude. Just call me the dude. That's what I am. I also love how it constantly cuts back to the bowling.
Yeah.
Like there's a heavy
That's
stuff
the B
going
plot.
on, and it's just going into this bowling alley.
Yeah. Like even Walter says, what happens? I think it's when they lose the money, or they throw the thing over the ransom over the bridge, and the guys drive off on motorcycles, and he's like, "Wait, you don't have the money!"
Yeah.
And he's all freaked out because we just got this girl killed. And he's like, "Screw it, let's go bowling."
Yeah. And they do.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Here's something I noticed too this time. What's Steve Buscemi's name?
Donnie.
Donnie. His shirt never says Donnie.
Oh, does it not?
It's like they got shirts from the Salvation Army or something. And at the end, the dude has a shirt on that doesn't have his name on it either. I don't think it says Jeff. I think it says AC or something.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. But those were his clothes too. Like the sandals are Jeff Bridges' clothes.
Huh. He I've seen Jeff Bridges in a lot of like serious roles.
Sure, absolutely.
So to see him
like a Razor's Edge,
cut loose like this, and play against type, is a lot of fun. And he you can tell he's having a lot of fun with it.
You can totally.
And I mean, John Goodman can be pretty intimidating.
Yeah,
like he's on a lot of sitcoms, being like the dad and all that kind of stuff.
Kind of goofy.
Like, he can, like, in 10 Cloverfield Lane. And
yes.
like, he can be...
Especially Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, a very dangerous feeling, man.
Yeah.
And
That's
he's a
good one.
loser in this.
Yeah.
But at that, like, the very end, when he's like, what's mine is mine, you're not taking it from me.
Yeah.
And he really beats the crap out of those guys.
He bowls the bowling ball into Flea.
And he rips his ear
off.
Like, it's like, okay. All that pent up
and then
anger.
He's like, just take the money. Jeff is like,
take the $5. I don't want this. He's so, oh man. And like, you feel for him too, because he doesn't want any part of this.
No.
He just wants to live his life.
Yep.
And he's just sucked.
Constantly.
And there's no way out. Every direction he tries to take, he just keeps getting screwed over.
Yeah.
And it's kind of relatable in many ways, but I find it like, maybe that's why I like it more now that I've kind of got a lot more experience than I did when I was 18 years old.
Right.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I can 100% understand that.
Yeah.
You're trying to do something nice and you make a quick buck out of it, and all this stuff happens, and you realize that you were supposed to die. You were
the
set up
patsy.
to die. Yeah.
You think you get some loser, and then you see me.
And nobody ain't going to care about me. Wow.
Isn't that true? Yeah. But I like, too, that there's that one part where after Julianne Moore wants to get pregnant. He's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Was that yoga?
Yeah, and they're talking, and he's, telling about his life, basically. And he had a real life.
Yeah.
And because she says, see, there's some parallels. Humphrey Bogart makes a point of saying he went to college and he was a lawyer. And he's like, no, I went to college, but I spent most of the time. He's a war veteran. He's a war Dodger, basically. I spent most of my time occupying different buildings. And then he says how he was part of the Seattle 7, which I think they made up for this. And
I wrote stuff.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And was a roadie for Metallica.
Yeah.
And this takes place in 91, so he's talking about 80s Metallica.
Yeah.
He said they were jerks. And that's another thing. That the big... we're not doing parallels yet. Go on.
Well, I was actually about to do the parallel.
Okay.
But I love how they reveal this. I love it so much because Walter's like, she kidnapped herself.
She kidnapped herself, dude.
This is all just a thing. You know, we're fine. It's cool. They send the tow.
Yeah.
Because he goes, he's like, nah, man, she kidnapped herself. It's nothing. You know, they have the money. They have all this stuff. And she's just playing with you. Say, oh, okay, is that it? And it's the tow. And then later on, you see, you see
Bunny driving.
Yes. Speeding down the highway.
Yep.
And then
the camera just slowly, because they're playing a song at the same time that she's singing, slowly goes down to her feet, and then it moves over to her
10 toes.
All 10 toes.
And then it cuts to the Germans.
The nihilists, because they're not all German.
Well, yeah.
One of them's Amy Mann. I think she was a singer. Anyway, they're having ordering pancakes. Go ahead.
And then it's like going through all of them, and then comes down here, and she sacrificed her toe.
Yeah.
To get the.
And they didn't kidnap her.
Nope.
They're taking advantage of a situation. And she got her toe cut off for that.
Yeah, it's
for
insane.
nothing.
Everybody's a victim of the system in this movie.
But I like those parts too, where they show that she's got her toes.
That's the reveal.
Yeah,
it's so well done. Because I was like, oh, maybe it was her this entire time.
Yeah,
but she's got all 10 toes. Well, then where would that toe come from?
And it turns out she just
went to connected. Yeah, she just went on a shopping spree.
Well, she went to go visit friends in Santa Barbara.
Yeah,
Philip Seymour Hoffman says, and so the nihilist didn't kidnap her. Treehorn didn't kidnap. Nobody kidnapped her at all.
She just left without telling anybody.
And he was going to. Lebowski was going to give him. The Big Lebowski was going to pay the ransom.
Yeah,
which was not any money.
Because
he does solve it.
He does. Because it's not the Lebowski's money, it's the foundation's
the foundation's money, but the money wasn't in there anyway.
Right. It was a way for him to keep it and get rid of his wife, who he doesn't like.
Right. He's sick of.
And then they'd kill him because the money wasn't there. And all loose ends would be tied.
Right.
There you go. Bob boom. And periodically we're introduced to the older sister in this.
Yep. Well, no, that's his daughter. Bunny's his wife. It's not the older sister like the Big Sleep.
Well, I mean, they have a similar parallel, though.
Yes, they do. They absolutely do.
Do we ever talk about what the blackmail was in the Big Sleep?
Kind of. But I didn't say. Maybe I was wrong. Because she killed the guy that ran off with the wife.
Yes.
Yes, that was what the big blackmail was.
Okay. I was like, I didn't miss that, right? So she pops in periodically, and she's kind of all about it, too. She's like, oh, yes, this is entirely what she would do. She would 100% hold the ransom.
Yeah, she doesn't like her.
At all.
Julianne Moore is older than her stepmother. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she doesn't like any of it.
And then she wants a baby, but doesn't want...
She doesn't want the father to be any...
any part of it at all. And he's like, all right, well, I'm okay with that then. I love the initial reaction. He's like, is it increase the pregnancy? And he just spits out the White Russian, which he's constantly drinking.
Constantly. This is a thing. I didn't notice it until I had to watch a video about it. But he writes a check to the Ralph's...
in the very beginning?
Store, yeah. And it's September 11th, 1991.
It's an outdated check.
No. It takes place in 1991, but it's on September 11th is when the movie starts.
What happened to that?
In 1991?
Well, in 2001.
But people have analyzed that. I've seen stuff online about that.
Yeah.
But parallels between the two.
Yeah, it's a check for 69 cents, too.
Yeah.
Which he probably doesn't have.
It wouldn't have cleared.
Nope.
It's like for a
he's gonna pay $25 for a jug of milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Stan, what's this guy's name? Rutledge? No.
Who?
In The Big Sleep, the Colonel.
Yeah.
Was in World War I as in a wheelchair. The Big Lebowski was in Korea and is in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you said parallels. That's the first one.
There's a parallel. You got the mother-daughter kind of paralleling the sister.
Yep.
Because you got the one sporadic
wild kid.
Wild card, and then you've got the more adult person who kind of falls for our main detective.
Yep. It is kind of, yeah. Lebowski she doesn't love him.
She doesn't love him. But she keeps coming back and ends up having his baby.
Right.
Then you have some sort of ransom-y blackmail stuff.
Yep.
And you've got a foreign mob.
Yep.
Kind of
right
in both. Well, not The Big Sleep wasn't a foreign mob, but they were there. It's like a enforcer thing in both. Yeah. We have 2 dream sequences also in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
That I kind of don't understand why they're in there.
Well, I don't either. I think they just wanted to do that and have like one of them is when the girls have the big bowling ball things. It's like a dance number almost.
Yeah.
And I think they just kind of wanted to do that. But it might have been Double Indemnity. There's a guy get knocked out and he was walking through doors. He has a weird kind of thing while he gets knocked out. One of these Raymond Chandler ones does.
Think so.
And so that kind of is a film noir parallel thing.
I could have cut those out. I don't think they really go anywhere. And
they don't mean anything. I like the songs.
Yeah.
That's all.
One of them kind of implies that they made an adult film with the dude.
You're talking about when they're the nihilists?
Yeah.
With the scissors?
And when he's the handyman.
Oh.
It says starring the dude.
He just he got hit in the head and is remembering that because in Julianne Moore's studio, like he's talking and right here is a red background, I think, with a pair of scissors. It's the same color scheme as them running.
Oh, okay.
And I think that they were going to cut his Johnson off. When they say that.
To cut you Johnson.
But, yeah, all this stuff and that he had seen the movie or part of it. She showed it to him, and then, you know what I mean? I think it was just that.
Oh, okay. Well, then. But, yeah, so there's not – it's kind of like the inverse. Of
it is. Because they're not tough guys.
No.
Even Walter, who does end up – he owns a security place and does that fighting. But he's not a real tough guy.
No, I mean, he pulls a gun on for bowling.
Yeah. And that guy, people ask him if he was over the line or not, and he remembers if he was over the line or not. He said he's going to take it to his grave. That actor.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
But this is a great. I mean, would you say this is a cult film?
Yeah, it was not a hit when it came out, and it totally has an audience that loves it, like dudism and all that stuff. You can buy the bowling
jacket.
shirts, the rug, all that stuff. There, you can get this stuff if you like this. The Big Lebowski, you can live it out almost. People dress up like the dude first. There is a. Where do they do that at? Crap. I heard about this a long time ago. Like, people will dress up as the dude and then do something. I don't remember what it was.
Because, like, I feel like it's similar to, like, Pulp Fiction.
No
where
way.
it's just a cultural phenomenon more than it is a...
yes and no.
You know?
Yeah, but Pulp Fiction was a gigantic success. Nothing is...
Well, yeah.
A lot of movies that came out after Pulp Fiction in the 90s, before you were born... So you don't really get it like this. Like Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, or well, True Romance, but he wrote that, have a lot of Tarantino-ness to them. And especially when you're talking about mundane, real-life things, not things that propel the story.
Uh-huh.
And nobody really does that with The Big Lebowski. It's not, there's nothing, no other movies were really influenced by it in that same way. Because nobody really makes movies like the Coen brothers do either.
Well, that's like your opinion, man. I just thought of that. I thought it was the funniest thing to put there.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying, though, where it's...
yeah, it's definitely,
it's a rite of passage
cultural thing. Yeah, because you said you saw it in college, and I bet a lot of other people had seen it there too. But if I went into work and started talking about The Big Lebowski, I'm probably only going to get one or two people that have seen it. Okay. Do you know what I mean? It's more culty. Pulp Fiction was not a cult movie.
Pop culture thing, and this was kind of under the radar.
Yeah, way under. I didn't know it came out until I saw it where you could rent it.
Uh-huh. Wow, okay. But there's just a handful of movies like Fight Club that's a rite of passage movie.
Yeah,
once you turn this age or once you hit this milestone, you haven't seen Fight Club?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to see Fight Club. And not in the pretentious Eraserhead way.
No, yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
And I love how people don't get that too. They're like, oh, the first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. The second rule is don't talk. It's intentionally set up to be broken.
Yeah, kind of. Because how are you going to get new recruits?
Well, and it's to start the whole getting you to break rules and be anarchists
true. Yeah.
and fight the man and be Meatloaf.
His name was Robert Paulson.
But no, I've thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I wrote down here like it aged like wine. I definitely so I watched the whole thing. And then I went back and watched the last 30 minutes of it.
Uh-huh.
I think this morning, just because I like the whole him putting it together.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Because it's done really well.
Yeah, and he's like coherent.
Yeah.
During those parts.
I love it. I think it's so good.
Yeah, once he's got that phone, he kind of steps up his game a little bit. Once he thinks somebody might have gotten killed because of him, he takes it seriously. And everybody else is the same.
Yeah. And then Donnie dies.
Yeah.
And they spread his ashes. And I cracked up when they go up to that windy rock.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, first off, they're arguing with the mortuary.
Yeah. About how much. Well, they don't have the money.
Yeah. Why is it $108? It's our cheapest.
Do you got a Ralph's around here?
Yeah.
Because you think he's going to go cash a check or something, but he's getting a coffee can.
Yeah. And then they go up there on this windy mountain, dump his ashes.
And it all blows back on him, yeah.
They cut to Jeff Bridges. How did he do some of this stuff with a straight face?
Yeah.
How did he get these ashes blown on you? And you just, because he's done. He's so done with this.
Yeah.
Everything that happened because of you, Walter.
Right.
And now this. Now my friend's dead. You dumped his ashes wrong, and I'm all covered in them.
You're talking about Vietnam.
Yeah.
Instead of Donnie. I did have to rewind this at the very end, too. There's a guy walking on the cliff on the other side.
The other side?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this movie's great. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's quick-witted.
Yeah.
And
that's another parallel, too, because Humphrey Bogart's Humphrey and Lauren Bacall are quick-witted in The Big Sleep, and he's very quick-witted. Like, at the beginning, they're shoving his face in the toilet. It's like, where's the money, Lebowski? Where's the money? They pull him out. Where's the money?
I think
I saw it down there. Let me take another look. He's like looking at the bowling ball. He's like, what the hell is this? Obviously, you're not a golfer.
And then we kind of started closing out the movie, and he runs into Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Who is that character supposed to be?
Sometimes I think it's him in the future.
You think?
Yeah, like reminiscing about this adventure he had.
Because the dude's like, oh, it's nice seeing you.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he God? Is he the devil?
He's the narrator.
Or he's, is the dude the only person who could see him kind of thing?
Yeah, that's another thing. Well, he gets a sarsaparilla, so they can see him.
Because he looks right at the camera.
Yeah.
And he does the opening narration. And he ties the whole,
He ties the whole thing together. I forgot to make that joke. Damn it. Glad we did.
This movie's full of quotable lines.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of interested to know what you thought about it, Randy, because you've seen this movie. And
yeah, you've been pretty quiet
about it.
I liked it. I liked the Donnie and John Goodman parts the most.
Walter, yeah. Shut the F up, Donnie. He's always like,
oh,
what's that, dude? Shut up, Donnie. That's like the only thing he says to him almost. And then he's like, are those the Nazis? No, they're just nihilists. They're cowards. Don't worry about it, Donnie. He's like, it's okay. He is his friend.
Yeah.
But he keeps telling him to just shut the F up.
Constantly.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it was a stoner movie as much as it was just a movie, like an action movie.
That has a stoner.
Yeah. Because it's no like pineapple. They act in this movie. Stoner movies also not good acting. 90%.
I think the Pineapple Express has good acting in it. Those guys are pretty good.
Well, it's James Franco.
Yeah, he's good.
I think some of them are misses sometimes, but
I don't think the Pineapple Express is a very good movie though.
I don't think so either. I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a stoner.
And I think this is a better movie than those.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you liked it, but it wasn't what you expected it to be.
No, I already my friend is a big fan of this movie, has like the jacket and everything, and he was talking it up, so I did kind of know what it was about, and he did not describe it as a stoner movie.
That's good,
okay, yeah.
Because it's not.
Like him and his dad bonded over this and had a poster in their house, and then, like I said, he has the jacket. So
that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Oh, that's all I've got to say about these two movies.
Big Lebowski is great.
I would check them out entirely.
I would check
Big
out
Lebowski more than the Big Sleep.
Any Coen Brothers movie. What about Fargo? Did you see that?
No, I never saw Fargo.
Everybody goes ape over Fargo, and it is pretty damn good. And the show was pretty cool
Isn't
too.
That based on a true story?
Yeah, based on a true story, but like a lot of stuff is
kind of not.
Yeah, and like there's another one that's called The Man Who Wasn't There, and it's shot in black and white. And I think they were trying to make a film noir movie, and it's okay. But like No Country for Old Men or Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? They're all really good movies, and they're definitely worth checking out.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is a
Tennessee
the
classic.
Odyssey.
And they didn't know they were making the Odyssey while they made it.
Huh.
Because even I'm like, I kind of don't believe that. Because why does John Goodman only have one eye? Well, there's another one he's in. But that was after this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a Cyclops in the Odyssey.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And the sirens, those girls in the river. I kind of don't believe that they didn't know it was the Odyssey.
Well, anyway, so that's all the time we had for this episode. I have, of course, have been Cheese Film with my partner Hecubus and Mr.
Randy Official.
And this has been the Grindhouse
Grindhouse
Podcast.
Podcast.
Cheese Film out.